Here's a hard truth: 77% of brands could disappear tomorrow, and no one would notice. Havas Group. Let that sink in. You've spent years crafting the perfect brand story, but the reality is, your customers just don't care anymore. They're bombarded with information every day, and your carefully crafted narrative is getting lost in the noise. What they really want isn't your story, they want value, speed, and relevance. And here's another shocker: 89% of companies are now competing based on customer experience. Forrester. Not your origin story, not your fancy logo, experience. So, if your marketing strategy still revolves around you, it's time to rethink everything. In this video, we'll explore why the traditional brand story is dying and what's taking its place. You'll learn how to flip your strategy to put customers at the center of your narrative, how to harness the power of personalization, and how to evolve your brand for the future. Ready to find out how to stay relevant? Let's get started. Chapter 1: The death of the brand-centric era. We're living in a time where customers have simply tuned out traditional brand stories. They don't want to hear about your company's humble beginnings, your struggles, or even your values unless it directly benefits them. In fact, a study by Havas Group found that 77% of brands could disappear, and no one would care. That's a hard truth for companies that have spent years crafting their brand narratives. But why is this happening? It's simple. Customers are overwhelmed with information. They've grown tired of being bombarded with stories that don't matter to them. Think about it: when was the last time you cared about the backstory of a company whose product you just bought on Amazon? Odds are, you didn't. That's because today's customers are driven by a desire for value and relevance, not storytelling. This shift isn't random. It's a result of the convenience economy. Consumers have more options than ever, and they're just a click away from finding another brand that delivers what they need faster. According to McKinsey, 75% of consumers have tried a new shopping behavior since the pandemic began, mostly because they were looking for better value and convenience. The takeaway? If you're still focused on telling your brand story, you're likely missing the mark. Your brand-centric marketing is probably falling on deaf ears. It's time to change tactics. Chapter 2: The rise of the customer-centric revolution. The key to modern marketing success is simple: focus on your customers, not your brand. Customers want solutions to their problems, not a history lesson on your business. Forrester research found that 89% of companies are now competing primarily on customer experience. If your marketing isn't customer-focused, you're already behind the curve. To stay relevant, your brand needs to shift from me to we. This means turning the spotlight away from your company and onto your customers. A great example of this is Amazon's hyper-focus on customer satisfaction. Amazon doesn't waste time telling its story. Instead, it shows its dedication to delivering what customers want: convenience, speed, and choice. It's no surprise that Amazon consistently ranks at the top of customer experience surveys. So, what can you do to adopt this customer-first mindset? Start by asking yourself, how does my brand solve my customers' problems? Are we speaking their language? Successful brands in today's market are the ones that show customers how their lives can be improved with the product or service being offered. Another strategy is to involve your customers in your marketing efforts. When you let your customers shape your narrative, it feels more genuine. Look at brands like Glossier, which heavily relies on user-generated content and customer reviews to promote its products. Customers trust other customers more than they trust brands, and that's why 92% of consumers say they trust earned media, such as recommendations from friends and family, over all other forms of advertising. Nielsen. Chapter 3: The authenticity myth. What customers really want. Here's the thing: authenticity has become a marketing buzzword that's almost meaningless now. Every brand claims to be authentic, but most come off as scripted. In a Sprout Social survey, 86% of people said transparency from businesses is more important than ever. But transparency doesn't mean crafting an authentic brand story, it means being real in the moment. Customers want brands that genuinely understand their needs. That's why it's important to focus on delivering real value instead of forcing a story. You can't fake customer-centric marketing. It needs to be based on solving actual problems. According to HubSpot, 93% of consumers are more likely to be repeat customers at companies with excellent customer service. This speaks volumes about what customers care about. One strategy to consider is personalization. Today's consumers expect brands to deliver highly tailored experiences. According to Accenture, 91% of consumers are more likely to shop with brands that provide relevant offers and recommendations. When you can make customers feel seen and understood, you're doing more than telling a story, you're building a connection. Don't just stop at surface-level personalization either. Dive deeper by using data to anticipate customer needs before they even express them. Think Netflix, its recommendations are so spot on that it keeps people watching for hours without realizing how much time has passed. This level of personalization has become the gold standard, and customers now expect it from all brands. Take a second to subscribe, and we'll dive straight back into the rest of the video. Chapter 4, Storytelling 2.0, the shift from me to we. The days of one-sided storytelling are over. The future of marketing lies in Storytelling 2.0, where the focus shifts from your brand's story to your customers' experiences. Consumers no longer want to be passive listeners, they want to be part of the narrative. This is why brands like Nike have thrived with campaigns like Just Do It, which encourages customers to tell their own stories of perseverance. It's no longer about your journey, it's about how your brand can fit into their lives. A study by Edelman found that 64% of consumers want brands to connect with them based on shared values. This means brands must engage in a conversation with their customers, not just broadcast messages. Brands that encourage their customers to co-create and share their personal stories are more likely to build loyalty and trust. So how can you make this shift? One strategy is to create campaigns that invite user participation. Look at Lego Ideas, where customers submit their own creations and vote on which should become official Lego sets. This community-driven approach has fostered deeper engagement and trust. By turning customers into creators, Lego is letting its users shape the narrative. Another way to shift from me to we is by showcasing customer stories. Featuring testimonials and case studies in your marketing gives consumers a sense that they are part of something bigger. 81% of consumers trust recommendations from friends or family over those from companies. HubSpot. When customers see people like them using your product, they're more likely to feel a connection. Chapter 5, Personalization Power. From storytelling to storymaking, there's a big difference between storytelling and storymaking. Storytelling is when you tell a polished narrative to your audience. Storymaking, on the other hand, invites customers to create their own experience with your brand. Brands like Spotify have mastered this through personalization. Every year, Spotify Wrapped provides users with a personalized snapshot of their listening habits, turning data into a shareable story that users want to spread. Accenture research shows that 91% of consumers are more likely to shop with brands that recognize and remember them. This is why personalization is no longer optional, it's essential. Customers want to feel like your brand gets them. Personalization helps you move away from generic messaging and instead deliver experiences that feel tailor-made for your audience. So, how do you harness the power of personalization in your marketing? First, you need to leverage customer data. Tools like email marketing platforms and CRM systems allow you to gather insights into what your customers want, need, and value. For example, Amazon doesn't just recommend products at random, it uses past purchase data and browsing behavior to make personalized suggestions. 44% of consumers say they are likely to become repeat buyers after a personalized shopping experience segment. A second strategy is to involve your audience in the creation of their own experiences. Whether it's through interactive content, quizzes, or tailored product recommendations, the goal is to make customers feel in control. Consider Sephora's Virtual Artist, which allows customers to try on makeup virtually and create custom beauty looks. This type of hands-on interaction builds deeper engagement. Your subscription helps us create more awesome videos. Click that button now.